Hello people and welcome to another Planetside 2 video. My name is MattiAce and this is the Scythe video that I promised I was going to give you guys. So just like with my last couple of flying videos, all of this is from the same session and it lasted for about 2 or 3 hours maybe. Now the upgrades that I have with the Scythe is basically the same as the upgrades I have with the Reaver and the Mosquito. Instead of Vortex Rotary, the main gun I have on the Scythe is called Hailstorm Laser. And my secondary is the rocket pods. I have the hover stability airframe level 3, decoy flares and composite armor. Now one of the things that I've come to realize with the Scythe, it is so much easier to sneak up on your opponent without them noticing you, and I am not in any way a stealthy kind of guy. I do not in any way attempt to catch my opponents off guard. So I wanna have a fight. But for whatever reason, when I fly the Scythe and approach an enemy, they don't know that I'm coming. And I've also had the same problem as I've been flying the Reaver, is that all of a sudden I have a Scythe all over me and I did not see him coming. And I just assumed that it was just because they were using stealth and maybe airspeed. But I don't have any of that here, and I kind of get the same result over and over. Another thing that makes the Scythe easier to handle than the other two ESFs is that it doesn't really land, it hovers, and obviously this makes the Scythe easier to just emergency land and start repairing, but it also makes it easy to overestimate how easy it is to land it, which is what you're going to see here. So for whatever reason, it just flips over and here it just explodes. So yeah, the game physics is a little bit buggy. When it comes to shooting enemy aircrafts at distance like this is something that has always been easiest to do with the Mosquito and hardest to do with the Reaver. Well, basically that's how it's been with most things that has to do with flying in Planetside 2. And again, the Scythe is kind of like in between the other two. And here I ended up in a quite unusual situation. I'm fighting over an area where all three empires are active, and here it ended up with being me and a Reaver chasing this same Mosquito. Obviously that Mosquito has no chance, and now for whatever reason I ended up behind the Reaver. It was just pure luck. Unfortunately this gives me a very unfair advantage over the Reaver pilot, and here you can see how this guy actually knows how to fly, but unfortunately I already had the advantage and there wasn't much of a dogfight this time. So yeah, that's what it's like in Planetside 2 a lot. It's very unusual that you get a fair fight. Another thing that you need to be careful about nowadays is when you go against Liberators. I have a video dedicated to how you deal with Liberators as an ESF pilot, and if you have a problem dealing with Liberators, I'm gonna link it in the description below the video. And I still use the same approach against Liberators, but you have to be more careful now, cause this is from an earlier patch and the Liberators have been significantly buffed since then, and they do very well against ESFs. One more thing you have to be really careful about now is lock-on missiles. Here you see I'm descending here because some people have been locking on to me and I couldn't really chase the Reaver here. Luckily, for whatever reason, he didn't want to dogfight me here, even though we are over NC territory, and I got the easiest kill ever, I guess. When it comes to lock-ons, you have to be extremely careful nowadays. You don't get a clear indication as of now, and it's probably a bug or whatever, some imbalance, but we'll see if SOE decides to fix this, hopefully sooner than later. Another thing that I've had a lot more success with the Scythe than the other two ESFs is using the rocket pods in dogfights. It is just easier to hit enemy ESFs with the photon pods than it is with the rocket pods of the other two ESFs, and it's kind of surprising because I started using this again with the Mosquito, and it's just because the rocket pods of the Mosquito are faster than the other two, and in the beginning I felt that it was easier with the Mosquito, but for whatever reason, I think it's because of the accuracy of the photon pods, I have a lot more success using it in the Scythe, and you will see more of that in this video. Now here is another thing about flying that is very Empire specific, is when you try to chase down an enemy ESF and shoot it down from range. For a situation like this, you have to really get used to whatever ESF you're flying and whatever gun you have equipped your ESF with, because this is very different, the way you have to lead and the amount of how far ahead you have to aim. And even if you don't switch between the three empires, you may have to relearn this as a new balance patch comes out, and that's what we saw with the 2nd of February patch. They changed the way that the rotary and the hailstorm guns work. Here's something that's important to do as ESF pilots. You have to work together as you take out ground targets like tanks and Sunderers, like we're doing here. And it's because the DPS of a single ESF is just not enough to take out tanks and Sunderers in a normal combat situation. Now obviously if you can sneak up on a tank and shoot them from behind, then you'll get an easy kill, but with experienced tankers they just don't give you the opportunity to do that unless they for whatever reason stray off from their teammates and you can catch them off guard. Now, in my videos, I am trying to moderate my frustration over how weak the Reaver is compared to the other two ESFs, especially compared to the Mosquito. I'm trying to show you guys that if you fly the right way, if you practice enough and if you teamwork with the right people, you can make the Reaver work as well. But to be honest, I am seriously losing respect for SOE now. The combination of constantly making the Reaver weaker than the other two ESFs, the bugs or whatever it is with the lock-on missiles, and the constant buff to the anti-air, especially the anti-air like the turrets that you don't even have to search into, it's just being ridiculous. And so here you can see the anti-air took half my HP in about no time, and this gives the Reaver a chance to catch me off guard. But it doesn't really matter, I have a Scythe, he has a Reaver, and you'll see how it goes. Now another thing that clearly shows the lack of understanding SOE has for gamers is ramming and ram bonus. Ramming is something that has been hated by pilots in every game that has flying, and the fact that SOE actually gives you bonus for this it's beyond stupid. Now, the solution for this, in my opinion, would be to give all ESFs about a double buff to vertical thrust. This way it would be easier to avoid rammers if you saw that somebody was actually going for you. And obviously another thing would be to invert whatever ram bonus you have in this game and make that a bit of a punishment for the one who is ramming. But yeah, that's probably something that SOE would be able to figure out if they wanted to. Now the reason why I'm giving Planetside 2 this critique is because I want this game to be as good as it can be, and it has a lot of potential. When it comes to the whole balance issues, the easiest ways that we could figure out how this actually works is if we had servers, like non-ranked servers, where we could just test weapons and vehicles and not have to worry about team killing or resources or acquisition timer and stuff like that. Just basically the normal setup that a server would have for a clan war. Now I can understand that a video like this can stir up a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions and all that, and discussions about these things that I've brought up can very easily turn into a bit of a flame war. I am welcoming all opinions and all feedback for this, but please be constructive about it. And I know that my latest videos have been covering the ESFs exclusively, but I promise you I will come back to infantry gameplay and even tanky gameplay in the future. So yeah, please stay tuned for that. And for whatever reason, I have a surprising amount of success while being in a tank, even though I have nowhere near as much experience with a tank as I have with a ESF or as infantry. So this gameplay took place on the server Litcorp, where I play with my good friends in the outfit Trident, and they've always been very friendly and welcoming, even though I'm very clear with the fact that my outfit is Consortium, which is an NC outfit on the server Miller. So now there's about 2 minutes left of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know what you think. And like always, I will come out with more content soon, so please stay tuned people, and bye for now.
Visual on an enemy gunship!
Generator compromised. a smart move. They are trying to cut us off. Otherwise, in the meantime, keep up with the team. Try to continue. So we don't get caught off. And as you can see, guys. They have no ship left, so... Sorry?
Generator destroyed.